I lay there for what felt like hours, the Wyoming sky stretching endlessly above me, indifferent as the stars that winked through the gathering clouds. Casper wasn't the kind of town that forgave. It was the kind that buried its sins under layers of red dirt and rancher pride. At 22, I'd grown up believing in the myth of the open range, freedom in every horizon, but that night, as coyotes howled their mocking chorus, I realized the West was just as fenced in as anywhere else. My name's Lila Harper, and up until that boot met my side, I'd been the good girl from the Harper spread, the one who helped with the calves at dawn and sang hymns at the First Baptist bake sales. But Jocelyn, God, just thinking her name twisted something fierce in my chest, had unraveled it all. We'd met 6 months back at the county fair, her laughing over a funnel cake, me too shy to do more than blush. She was a summer hand on the neighboring ranch, all fire and freckles, with a drawl that wrapped around you like warm leather. Our first kiss happened behind the Ferris wheel, tentative and tasting of cotton candy, and from there, it was stolen moments in haylofts and whispered promises under pickup truck beds. Ma found the letters that afternoon. I'd tucked them in my Bible, of all places, thinking the cross on the cover made them safe. But she was folding laundry in my room, humming an old gospel tune, when one slipped out like a serpent from Eden. "Lila Marie Harper," she'd whispered, her voice ablade. "What devilry is this?" By supper, the whole family knew, Pa's face turning purple, my little brother Timmy staring like I'd grown horns. They didn't yell at first. That came later, after the preacher was called and prayers were said over my affliction. Now, curled on the cold ground 10 miles from the highway, every bone ached. My phone was smashed under Pa's heel, my wallet emptied for safekeeping, until I repented. Repent. The word tasted like ash. I tried, Lord knows. Nights on my knees begging for the feelings to fade, for Jocelyn to become just a friend in my mind. But love doesn't repent. It digs in like a burr on a wool sock. Headlights pierced the dark eventually, not the sheriff like I'd half hoped, but a battered Ford pickup rattling to a stop. "You okay, darlin'?" The voice was gravelly, laced with cigarette smoke and concern. Out stepped Marlene, the diner waitress who'd always slip me extra fries and eyed me like she knew my secrets. She was pushing 50, with a perm gone gray and hands callous from years of slinging hash. "Marlene," I croaked, pushing up on scraped elbows. She knelt, her knees popping. "Heard the ruckus from the road. Your pa's got a temper hotter than a branding iron. Come on, let's get you cleaned up." No questions, no judgment. Just a flannel shirt draped over my shoulders and a ride into town that smelled of coffee thermos and regret. The Casper Women's Shelter was a squat brick building on the edge of the oil fields, the kind of place that whispered temporary, but screamed forever, to anyone who walked through its doors. Marlene vouched for me at intake, spinning a yarn about a family spat that had me nodding along, too numb to correct her. The counselor, a wiry woman named Rita with tattoos peeking from her sleeves, handed me a COT assignment and a pamphlet on rebuilding after domestic turmoil. Turmoil. That was one word for it. My bunk was in a room with 5 others. A runaway teen picking at her nails, a divorcee nursing a black eye, and 3 women who'd cycled through more times than they could count. Sleep came in fits, haunted by Pa's roar and Ma's silent tears. Jocelyn, where was she? She'd shipped back to her folks in Montana 2 weeks ago, promising to call, but the fair was over and so was summer. I pictured her riding fence lines, oblivious, her laugh echoing across valleys I'd never see again. Mornings blurred into mandatory group sessions, where we circle-jerked our traumas like it was coffee klatch. "I'm Lila," I'd mumble on day 3, "and my family kicked me out for loving the wrong person." The room went still, then nods rippled like wind through wheat. Turns out the shelter was a quiet haven for women like me, lesbians, trans folks, anyone the Bible Belt chewed up and spat out. Rita called it the Underground Railroad of the Heartland. But freedom felt like chains. I job hunted by day, scrubbing toilets at the truck stop for minimum wage, my checks going straight to the shelter's rent. Nights I'd stare at the ceiling replaying that last letter. "Miss you like the stars miss the sun, cowgirl. Come back soon." Jocelyn had called me that once, teasing, after I roped a calf faster than her. Now it mocked me. It was week 2 when she walked in. Not Jocelyn, but close enough to punch the air from my lungs. The volunteer coordinator announced guest speaker during arts and crafts. And there she was, Jocelyn Tate, striding through the door like she owned the prairie. boots clicking on linoleum. 28, broad-shouldered from years breaking horses, with blonde hair cropped short under a Stetson and blue eyes that could cut glass or melt it, depending on her mood. She wore faded Levi's and a chambray shirt rolled to her elbows, revealing forearms etched with rope burns. The room perked up. Word was she ran a writing program for at-risk youth out of her family's ranch, turning wild kids into steady hands. "Ladies," she drawled, tipping her hat. "Name's Jocelyn. Grew up right in these parts, learned early that life's a buckin' bronco. You gotta hold on or get throwed." Her voice was pure Montana, vowels stretching like taffy. I shrank into my chair, heart hammering. Did she know? Had Marlene spilled? She scanned the room, gaze landing on me like a lasso. Recognition flickered, then something deeper, shock, maybe sorrow. Lila Harper? Hell, small world. The group tittered, but I felt exposed, raw as a fresh brand. After her talk, stories of resilience, broncos tamed, scars that tell tales, she cornered me in the hall. "What in God's name happened? I called your cell a dozen times." "Smashed," I whispered, glancing at the other women filing out. "Pa found your letters. Threw me out like trash." Her jaw tightened, that cowgirl steel flashing. "Those bastards. Come here." She pulled me into the supply closet, the door clicking shut behind us. Shelves of yarn and glitter loomed, but all I saw was her, close smelling of hay and sagebrush. "I'm sorry, Lila. I didn't know. But I'm here now." Her arms wrapped around me, solid as oak, and for the first time since the driveway, I let myself break. Sobs racked me, soaking her shirt, while she murmured nonsense about stars and second chances. When I pulled back, her thumb brushed my cheek, lingering. "You're not alone, darlin'. Not anymore." That hug lingered like a promise, but promises in Casper were as fragile as new shoots in a late frost. Jocelyn started showing up weekly, her writing program extending outreach to the shelter. She'd load us into her truck for trail rides, me always in the saddle behind her, our hips brushing as the horse swayed. "Feel that rhythm?" she'd say, her breath warm on my neck. "Life's like this, up-down, but you lean in." The other women noticed, ribbing me gently. "That one's got eyes for you, Harper." And God help me, I felt it too, the pull deeper than before. Jocelyn wasn't just a summer fling. She was the horizon I'd been chasing. We'd sneak off after rides, picnicking by the Platte River, her fingers tracing patterns in the sand as she shared her own scars. Her ma had passed young, leaving her pa to drown in whiskey and bad decisions. "I came out at 16, she said one twilight, skipping stones. "He said if I was gonna be unnatural, I'd earn my keep. So I did, roped, rode, ran the ranch till he sobered up." "You're brave," I whispered, leaning into her shoulder. "Nah, just stubborn." Her laugh rumbled, but her eyes were serious. You're the brave one. Leaving that house? That's rodeo gold." Kisses followed, soft at first, under cottonwoods where no one could see. Her lips tasted of mint and mischief, her hands gentle on my waist, pulling me close without demand. It was romance stripped bare. No grand gestures, just the quiet thrill of her palm against mine, walking back to the truck as fireflies danced. But Casper's fences loomed. My brother Timmy showed up one rainy afternoon, soaked and sheepish at the shelter door. 16 in all limbs, he looked smaller without Pa's shadow. "Ma's worried sick," he muttered, handing me a crumpled envelope. Cash, $200, and a note in her looping script. "Pray for guidance, child. Doors open if you turn back." "Turn back to what?" I snapped, folding it away. "Hate." He flushed. "It's not hate, Lila. It's fear." Pa's on a tear, preaching to anyone who'll listen about saving the family name. "But Ma, she misses you." Jocelyn arrived mid-conversation, her truck idling outside. Timmy eyed her warily. "Who's this?" "A friend," I said, too quick. She extended a hand, all easy charm. "Jocelyn Tate. Heard you're handy with the lasso, kid." He shook, grudging respect dawning. "Yeah? You ride. Like the wind." She grinned, defusing the tension. But as he left, promising to talk to Ma, I felt the noose tightening. Family didn't forget, they plotted. The betrayal came swift as a summer squall. I'd saved enough for a room share downtown, dreaming of a life with Jocelyn, maybe her ranch, weekends mending fences side by side. She proposed it one night over diner pie. Move in with me, Lila. My place is big enough for 2 dreamers. I said yes without breathing, our foreheads touching across the booth. But the next morning Rita pulled me aside, her face grim. Your pa's lawyered up. Says you're a minor. Wait, no, you're 22, but he's claiming undue influence, emotional abuse. From her. She nodded toward the parking lot, where Jocelyn's truck gleamed. My stomach dropped. What? Anonymous tip to child services. Said you're unstable, a flight risk. They're petitioning for a psych eval. Might lock you down here longer. Rita's eyes softened. Sounds like payback. Pa. It had to be. Timmy's visit wasn't olive branch. It was recon. And Jocelyn dragged into the crossfire because of me. I bolted to the lot, finding her loading saddles. Did you know? Her face crumpled. Know what, darlin'? They're coming for me. Because of us. Tears stung. You should run. Save yourself the mud. She dropped the gear, cupping my face. Not a chance. We're in this corral together. But doubt flickered in her eyes. The ranch, her program, all at risk if the town turned. That night the storm broke. Pa's truck rumbled up as we sat on the shelter steps, his face thunderous beside the preacher. Lila. Inside now. This harpy's poisoned you. Jocelyn stood, a wall of resolve. Mr. Harper, with respect, she's a grown woman. Respect. He spat. You're the devil's own, leading lambs astray. The preacher droned verses, neighbors gathering like vultures. I clutched Jocelyn's hand, trembling. Enough. My voice cracked the air. I'm gay, Pa. And I love her. Lock me up, pray me out, it won't change. He lunged, but Jocelyn stepped forward, unyielding. Touch her, and you'll answer to me. The standoff hung electric until sirens wailed, Rita calling the law. They hauled him off for disorderly, but the damage rooted deep. The eval came days later. A shrink in a stuffy office, probing like a vet with a sick foal. Tell me about Jocelyn, she said, pen poised. She's my future, I replied, chin high. The report cleared me. Stable, resilient. But the shelter extended my stay for safety. Jocelyn visited nightly, her presence a lifeline, but whispers spread. Tate girls' trouble corrupting the lost girls. Her program lost donors. Kids' parents pulled back. One evening, as snow dusted the windows, early for Wyoming, she arrived hollow-eyed. Pa called. Says if I don't cut ties, he'll sell the ranch out from under me. Blames me for everything. Betrayal sharp as barbed wire. Not hers but his, the man who'd raised her to stand tall, now folding like cheap cardstock. What'll you do? I whispered, dread coiling. She knelt by my cot, voice breaking. Fight, Lila. For us. But it might break me first. We clung then, the room empty, our love a fragile flame against the gale. Little did I know, the real tempest brewed not in family feuds, but in the heart's uncharted badlands. Winter clamped down on Casper like a vice, turning the Platte to ice and the roads to glass. The shelter's thin walls groaned under nor'easters, but inside, Jocelyn and I carved a world of our own. Stolen hours in the craft room, her teaching me to whittle horses from pine scraps, my fingers clumsy but eager. See? Smooth edges like trust, she'd say, guiding my hand, our breaths mingling in the chill air. Yet trust frayed at the seams. Pa's stunt had lit a fuse. Town gossips fanned it into a bonfire. At the truck stop, customers I'd served pie to now averted eyes or muttered slurs under breath. Harper girls gone queer, watch your daughters. Jocelyn fared worse, her truck got keyed one night. Sinner scratched deep into the door. She laughed it off, adds character. But I saw the wear, lines etching deeper around her eyes. Rita pulled strings for my release after the eval, but safety concerns pinned me another month. It's protocol, she said, apologetic. Your pa's got friends on council. Friends. The same ones who'd toasted my high school graduation, now voting to cage me like a feral dog. Jocelyn adapted, turning visits into strategy sessions. We'd pore over job listings by flashlight, her sprawled on the floor, me cross-legged on the cot, plotting escape to Cheyenne or Denver where rainbows flew proud. We'll get a place with a porch swing. She dreamed, sketching floor plans on napkins. You, me, and a couple rescue mutts. No more hidin'. I'd trace her knuckles, marveling at the calluses. And horses. Heard of em. You'll be ropin' circles around me. Her kiss sealed it soft and sure, a vow etched in whispers. But vows crack under pressure. The betrayal deepened when Timmy returned, this time with Ma in tow. They waited in the lobby, bundled against the sleet, her face gaunt under a wool scarf. "Lila, baby," she murmured, arms outstretched. No preacher, no ultimatums, just exhaustion. We huddled in a corner, Jocelyn hovering like a sentinel till I waved her off. Ma's hands trembled as she pressed a quilt into my lap, the one she'd pieced from my baby clothes. I couldn't let him burn it. Said it was tainted. Tainted. The word stung fresh. Like me. Her eyes welled. No child. Like his pride. She confessed in halting breaths. Pa's rages, the whiskey creeping back, his sermons turning venomous. He thinks saving you saves us all. But I see you, Lila, really see. That girl. She makes you shine. Hope flickered, fragile. Then come home. Just us. We'll make him see. I wanted to God the pull of blood, the ache for her apple pie and bedtime stories. But as she spoke of reconciliation, doubt gnawed. Timmy shifted, avoiding my gaze, and I caught it. The stiffness, the rehearsed lines. Pa's script fed through Ma's mercy. That night, I told Jocelyn, curled against her in the shadowed rec room. She wants me back. Says Pa's cracking. Her silence stretched heavy. And you? I don't know. Honesty burned. Part of me misses it, the life before. She pulled away just inches, but it felt miles. Before me, you mean? No. Panic surged. Jocelyn, you're my after. My always. But family is a chain if it binds you wrong. Her voice was steady, but pain threaded it. I get it, darlin'. Blood's thick. Just don't forget what waits on this side. She left early, citing chores, but the chill lingered. Days blurred. Ma's visits became ritual. Baked goods, tearful pleas, Timmy's awkward jokes. Each time she'd eye the door, as if expecting Jocelyn to burst in and steal me away. And each time I wavered, the quilt a talisman on my bunk. The climax brewed on a brittle February morning, wind howling like lost souls. Jocelyn arrived unannounced, face ashen, hauling a duffel. We're leaving. Today. My heart leaped then sank. What? I can't. Just sign out, no notice. Rita's in on it. Called it therapeutic relocation. She grinned fierce, but her eyes were haunted. My pa, he made good on the threat. Signed papers to sell the ranch. Some developer from Texas, fracking dreams. Lost the program, the horses, everything. Oh God. I clutched her. Because of us? Partly. Mostly him being a fool. She straightened, resolve hardening. But I'm done begging for scraps. Trucks packed, your stuff from the bunk, mine from the house. Head to Billings, my cousin's got a spread, needs hands. Fresh start. Exhilaration ward with terror. Leave Casper? The shelter's safety net. Ma's fragile bridge? What about them? Pa wins if I run. Pa wins if you stay and shrink. Her hands framed my face, thumbs stroking. Choose, Lila. The fence or the open. I chose her. In a whirlwind of hugs, Rita's tight squeeze, the other women's cheers, we dashed to the truck, snow swirling like confetti. Ma's call came as we hit the highway, voice shrill through the crackling line. Where are you? Timmy said. Oh Lord, that girl took you. Took me. Laughter bubbled, bitter. I went, Ma. Willingly. Silence, then sobs. He's comin' for you. Filed for conservatorship, says you're not right in the head. Cops are en route to the shelter. The road blurred. Conservatorship? At 22? Pa's betrayal full bloom, using the system like a whip. Tell him I love him. But I can't be his ghost. She whispered prayers as we hung up, the line dead as winter earth. We drove through the storm, Wyoming's backbone unfolding. Snow-capped Tetons mocking our flight. Jocelyn's hand in mine anchored me, her stories a balm. Wild youth escapades. A near drowning in the Yellowstone that taught her to swim against currents. Love's like that river, she said, as Billings lights pricked the dark. Fierce, but it carries you if you let it. The cousins' ranch was a ramshackle haven, calving season in full swing. We bunked in the foreman's quarters, a single room with a sagging bed and potbelly stove. Our first night tangled in exhausted sleep, her heartbeat my lullaby. Mornings dawned with chores. Me mucking stalls, clumsy but learning, Jocelyn breaking ice in troughs, her laughter echoing at my fumbles. Romance bloomed quiet, profound, dinners of beans and cornbread by firelight, her reading Whitman aloud while I sketched her profile, charcoal-smudged fingers. Leaves of grass, she'd tease, but you're my wild rose. Kisses deepened, bodies pressing in the lamplight, but always tender, a dance of rediscovery, not conquest. Her touch mapped my scars, the bruise from Pa's boot faded to yellow, but the deeper one she healed with whispers. Beautiful, brave, mine. Yet conflict shadowed. News from Casper trickled via payphone calls to Rita. Pa's petition denied, but the town boycott on Tate beef hit hard. Jocelyn's Pa, remorse gnawing, offered buyback if she returned alone. Says you're a distraction, she relayed one dusk, chopping wood with furious swings. Like I'm some filly gone lame. Rage flared in me. Let him rot. We're building this. She paused, axe buried in the block. Building what, Lila? A life on borrowed land? Your ma calls every week, says Pa's drinking himself hollow, begging for you. Guilt twisted, sharp. Ma's voice haunted. Come home, fix us. But home was here, in Jocelyn's calloused palm, the way she hummed off-key to the radio. The storm peaked in April, calving gone wrong. A heifer labored through the night, Jocelyn elbow-deep in blood and mud. Real work, the kind that binds or breaks. I held the lantern, whispering encouragement as she pulled the calf free, slick and mewling. Dawn painted us gold, exhaustion bonding us tighter. But betrayal's echo resounded when Timmy appeared at the gate, dust caked on a borrowed bike. Ma's dyin', Lila. Cancer. Knew for months, didn't tell. Wants you. The world tilted. Jocelyn's face drained. Go. I'll hold here. No. Tears hot. Not without you. He scoffed. Her? Pa says she's why Ma's sick, stress from your choices. Lies. Jocelyn snarled, but Timmy stood firm, 16 going on sentinel. It's true. Come see for yourself. Or don't, but you'll regret. The drive back was purgatory, Jocelyn at the wheel, silence thick as fog. Casper greeted us gray, the Harper Ranch a ghost of memory. Porch light flickering like a dying pulse. Ma lay frail in the bed, skin paper thin, but her eyes lit at me. My girl. Pa hovered in the corner, hollow-cheeked, whiskey bottle abandoned. Lila. No roar, just defeat. We talked halting. Forgiveness traded like fragile china. Ma gripped my hand, then Jocelyn's. Thank you. For bringing her home. But home fractured further that night. Alone with Pa on the porch, stars and different witnesses, he confessed. I filed those papers to protect you. Thought that Tate woman. She'd ruin you like she did her own kin. Ruin. I pressed. Her Pa told me. After the sale fell through. Said Jocelyn drove his wife to drink. Then buried her when it turned bad. Lies to save face, but what if? Poison seeped. Jocelyn's silences, her Pa's threats. Coincidence or pattern? I confronted her in the truck at dawn. Ma stable for now, chemo lined up. Did you? Push her. Her eyes flashed hurt. Ma died of the bottle, Lila, long before I came out. Pa's spin to salve his guilt. But doubt seeded, watered by miles. We parted at the highway, she to the ranch, me to Casper's vigil. Letters flew. Hers fervent, mine guarded. Ma rallied, then faded, her last words a plea. Choose love, not grudge. For all of us. She slipped away in May, quilt tucked under chin. The funeral was a blur of casseroles and condolences. Pa's hand on my shoulder tentative. Jocelyn came, standing sentinel at the grave. Her presence a quiet storm. After In the Empty House I broke. I can't do this without you. She held me as thunder rolled. Then don't. Summer scorched the plains, turning grief to ash. Ma's passing left a void, Pa and I filled with uneasy truce. Him sober at AA meetings, me sorting her recipe cards, each stained with vanilla and memory. Timmy thawed, helping with the milking. His jokes a bridge over the chasm. But Casper's eyes lingered, judgment soft now, pity harder to bear. Jocelyn's letters piled like unanswered prayers. Miss your laugh in the wind. Come back, ranch needs its rose. I wrote back evasive, the seed of doubt sprouting thorns. Pa's words echoed ruin, fueled by a late-night call from her Pa, slurred and spiteful. Tate Blood's cursed girl. Jocelyn'll drag you under, like she did my Ellen. Lies I knew, but fear is a sly rustler, stealing certainty one whisper at a time. I drove to Billings unannounced, needing truth in her eyes. The ranch sprawled sunbaked, Jocelyn hang afield, shirt plastered to her back. She dropped the pitchfork at my truck, striding over, arms crushing. Thought you'd ghosted me, she murmured into my hair. Needed to see. We walked the fence line, calves bawling, her hand swinging close but not touching. I spilled it, the call, the fear. Was it accident? Or? She stopped, face crumpling. Ellen was my Aunt Lila, Pa's sister. Died when I was 10, liver failure from the drink. Pa blamed me 'cause I found her, held her hand as she went. Said I should have prayed harder, not loved girls. Her voice fractured. He twisted it after I came out, weapon to keep me in line. Relief flooded but shame followed. I doubted you. Family does that. She cupped my chin. But love? It questions then chooses. We chose that night under a meteor shower. Kisses fierce with forgiveness, bodies entwining on a blanket by the creek, her whispers mapping constellations on my skin. No rush, just union. Her fingers lacing mine, breath sinking like tides. Dawn found us tangled, the world remade. But climax loomed, inevitable as thunderheads. Back in Casper, Pa announced the ranch sale. Debts from Ma's bills, his pride too bruised to fight. Start fresh, he said over coffee, eyes avoiding mine. You and me, Timmy. In town. Fresh. It reeked of erasure. I fought, pleading for time, but developers circled like buzzards. Jocelyn drove down weekends, her truck a lifeline, but tension simmered. Pa's cool nods, Timmy's wary glances. She's trouble, he'd mutter, echoing ghosts. The breaking point came in July, heat wave cracking the earth. Jocelyn and I stole a day at the river, swimming lazy laps, her laughter chasing minnows. Idle shattered by Timmy's call. Pa's signing tomorrow. But he's not right. Come quick. We raced back, dust plume trailing. The kitchen was war zone. Papers strewn, Pa slumped at table, bottle half empty despite vows. Couldn't, he slurred. Ma's gone and it's your fault. His finger jabbed at Jocelyn. You. Seducing my girl, breaking us. Jocelyn stiffened. Mr. Harper. Shut it, Dyke. He lunged, chair toppling, fists swinging wild. I shoved between, his knuckles grazing my cheek. Not hard but enough to split skin, a thin line of red welling. Time slowed. Jocelyn's roar hauling him back. Timmy bursting in, yelling. My blood on the linoleum, stark as accusation. Pa crumpled, sobbing. I lost her. Lost everything. Jocelyn cleaned the cut with steady hands. Ice from the freezer. Go, I told her, voice steel. Before he. Not leavin' you. Her eyes blazed. Not like this. Timmy herded Pa to the porch, murmuring AA lines. In the quiet, Jocelyn bandaged me, her touch a sermon. This town's poison, Lila. We bail now. Take the ranch money by our own spread. Our own. The dream solidifying. But Pa's wail pierced. Don't go. I need you. Need. The word hung, humanistic plea amid the hate. I stepped out, Jocelyn shadowing. Pa, I said, kneeling by his rocker. You need help. Not me. Not blame. He clutched my hand, tears carving channels. Forgive an old fool? Always. But forgiveness isn't absolution. Sell if you must. But live, Pa. For Ma. Dawn broke as we loaded the truck. My quilt, her saddle, Timmy's grudging hug. Pa watched from the steps, diminished but stirring. Right, he called. And be happy. The road to Billings unspooled, Jocelyn's hand in mine. Radio crooning Merle Haggard. Betrayal sting faded, replaced by resolve. The human weave of fracture and mend. Weed by a small plot near her cousins. Plant roots in fertile soil. Writing lessons for strays, a garden of wild roses. Nights under stars where love wasn't whispered but shouted. Months later, as snow dusted our porch swing, Timmy visited. Awkward but open. Pa sobered, sending postcards of Wyoming sunsets. Jocelyn and I? We rode the Bronco together, holding tight through bucks and breaths. In the end, fate wasn't changed by a cowgirl. It was claimed by two women, daring the horizon. Humanity's grace. Not in perfection but in the choosing, the lock picked, the shelter left, the heart unchained.